Before we start this video, and that's going to make a few of you guys happy and a few of you guys a little bit upset. It will be happy because I'm posting another Satellarknight deck profile post the Age of Overlord, which was asked by many of you on my Discord channel. By the way, if you're on Discord, please follow me. The link is in my profile somewhere. If not, reach out to me. I will gladly extend it to you. But yeah, a lot of you will be complaining that, hey, this Stellar deck feels a little weird. This Stellar deck doesn't feel pure enough. Well, the thing is that Satellarknights are a rogue deck, and when you are a rogue deck, you are not strong enough to kind of make your own headways as like with only one archetype. I'm looking at you, elemental heroes that have been trying to make it out of rogue and are still stuck in there because they refuse to kind of think outside of the box, which is what I had to do. This deck no longer turn skips. And you'll see also some cards missing in here, which will kind of maybe trigger you, or you might like it. It might be revolutionary for you guys, but I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm going to get right into this deck profile because I want to get this over with for you guys. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button. I cannot believe it's been 2 years already since I've been making YouTube videos, and I am here almost at the brink of 1,000, and let's hope we get it by the end of the year. But yeah, so let's get into this lineup, this weird lineup post Age of Overlord. Here we go. We got our main starters for the Satellarknights. We got the best Satellarknight card out there, and that is 3 copies of Satellarknight Lyran, so she still stays at 3. This is your combo off starter, and usually you pair this card with cards like the Neb. The Neb used to be a 3 of, and now it's a 1 of. Just because cards nowadays, you notice, don't only do one thing. They kind of have multiple effects, kind of like Lyran. But the Neb itself only has one effect, and that's upon summon, you get to search a Satellarknight from your deck to your hand, which is good, but it's not that great anymore. Because we can actually rotate easily with that through our new XC monster. So anyway, and then we run 1 copy of Unukalai, which is your Foolish Burial. This is arguably a better version of the Neb, because graveyard is way more important now than just adding from deck to hand. Speaking of graveyard, 1 copy of Altair, just to recycle all your XCs in the grave and kind of rank up or rank down with the spell card. And then 1 copy of Altairin. This ratio, by all means, is not the final version of the deck, but I feel like this is the most consistent and the cleanest list I can put together for this deck. It's at 40 cards still, and believe it or not, this is actually the Teller engine right here. It's still a Satellarknight deck, but I mean, I figured out that the rest of the Satellarknights don't really serve any purpose. Like Vega doesn't serve purpose. The ones that the scales, they don't serve any purpose. They're not that competitive in this meta. Even Caduceus and Sheraton, like as good as that is, man, you don't want to draw Sheraton. And in here, I definitely found a better way to do that. So that's it for the Satellarknight lineup. Let me know how you guys feel about that. So the next little engine that we're playing in here is obviously the Super Heavy engine. If you guys are not familiar, the Super Heavy engine, and I'm going to start with Bike, is a very rapid fire engine. This deck is this version of it is consistent. It's very strong because it brings out rank 4 plays, which we can go into, and it also opens up our deck for more variety, which prevents us to get completely destroyed by the barrier. Now we have plays with XCs and even links. So Bike is at 2. Scene 3 is good because this enables you to your Baron play. However, if you don't see, you don't want to see too many of this in hand. So 2 is okay. And if I don't open it, don't worry. I mean, the main guy is Wakashi, and you do want to activate all these effects first thing before resolving any spells or trap cards. We do run a quite number of spells and trap cards in here, but just remember to resolve these guys first. Wakashi, upon activation, will get you a Pendulum Scale, which dodges cards like Droll because it just brings it out to the field. And then upon that, it summons itself onto the field, and you have a free rank 4 because of this guy. 1 brick of your Benkei. Drawing this guy kind of sucks, but drawing 2 of them sucks even more. So, which can happen. I know a lot of people want to run 2 just because they draw 1, but what if you draw 2? What are you going to do then? How are you going to scoop immediately? So I'd rather just have 1 and risk it. With Benkei, you get to add Soul Booster, Soul Guide Booster, which then will bring itself onto the field and let you play into your XCs or Synchros. The way you're gonna play it, and I'll show you in the test hand video, I promise I'll make you one, is it all depends on your hand. If you have a strong hand, enough bodies to bring out, you might want to go into a rank in the XC play. Synchro play. I'm sorry, but if you don't, you might want to scale back and just play the safe route, which is the XC play. So that's it for the super heavy samurai engine, and then we have the ever so powerful last engine. We got 3 copies of Kashtira Fenrir and then 1 copy of Riceheart. You see the theme here. Fenrir is an interruption all of in itself, not to mention upon summon, you get to search out Riceheart and it's a free rank 4 play on the spot. If you choose to run rank 7s, which I don't think there's any good ones anymore left because some of them got banned, Riceheart, this is the next best play. You just bring him out as a 4 and then use that effect. So that's it for the engine cards, and then we do run few hand traps here. We do run 3 copies of Ash Blossom, the best hand trap in the game right now outside of Imperm. And another hand trap that's been gaining popularity because of the format that we're in is actually Dimension Shifter, which surprisingly does really well in this deck, considering the fact that sometimes you have spells or traps that you want to activate. However, it conflicts a lot with the super heavy engine. But if you activate Shifter first, that way all the spells and traps go to the Banish Zone. You can still resolve Bike, you can still resolve Wakashi. So that's why Shifter belongs in this deck, and it hits those top tier meta decks a lot worse than it bothers us a little bit. It doesn't really do much against us because we can always play a little bit of a different style. Let's move on to the spells and traps. We got 2 copies of Pressure Planet Raidsoth. Still a very good spell card. You want to lead with this just to bait out any Ash or anything. Usually people don't respond with Ash anyway, so you get a Fenrir for free in your hand. So this is a huge +1. Don't forget you are running a lot of different archetypes in here, which means that you can now boost up your Satellarknights for OTKs that were actually lacking that before. So 2 copies of that. I'm still running 2 copies of Constellar Satellarknights. Just because you search off of one and then you have the other one for follow-up, which is pretty important considering if you are gonna go turn 3, you need that follow-up for Trigger to usually clean boards. So 2 copies as of now, and then we have consistency cards. We have 2 copies of Triple Tactics Thrust, and then 1 copy of Triple Tactics Talent. This is the best searchers in the deck right now, and Talent is a game winner by itself. I cannot tell you how many times I won games with Talent. You just gotta know when to activate it properly. We got 1 copy of Reinforcements of the Army. All your cards are warriors. All the main pieces are, so you need to run that. We got 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. This is all depending on whether you're going first or second, or it depends on what you're gonna go for. There's definitely room in the extra deck to banish 3. 6 sometimes is cutting it a little bit too close, but 3 is usually that sweet spot. And then for going second or going first is Book of Eclipse. Remember, Book of Eclipse is a good card because if you do it soon enough, your opponent will either end their turn, or if they want to keep playing, they'll actually flip their monsters face down or tribute them regardless. So that way they don't get the draws. And when your monsters flip face up, you get to search again because all the Satellarknights are upon summons, which includes a flip summon. So that's it for the spell cards, and then for the trap cards, you already know, guys. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, self-explanatory, best hand trap in the deck. So that's it for the spell trap lineup and the monster lineup. Let's go to the extra deck. We are running 2 copies of Satellarknight Caduceus. 2 copies is mandatory for the recycling purposes, and it's just a generic rank 4 to go into. We got 1 copy of Battle Mist. This is usually what you end up with anyway, with Battle Mist and Diamond on the field, kind of locking your opponent out with summoning monsters on the board because it makes everything dark. Haven't gotten the chance to this day to use its second effect. It does require a lot of different Satellarknight names in the graveyard, and since they're not all that good, you're not running really that many names. We got 1 Trigger. Really underestimated card. This card actually wins games for you because non-target card bounces, and then you can choose to detach and discard a card from your opponent's hand. If not, then that's fine. Let's see what else we have here. We have 1 Ptolemy. This is purely here. I found ways to play without this card in the deck. If you guys are interested, leave a comment down below and I can respond to it and tell you what cards you can substitute for Ptolemy, because the only reason it's still in the deck, I feel, is to trigger Alteran because you need that extender. However, if it's not, you can still rank up or rank down with any generic into a diamond. just one less material, but then again opens up your extra deck with one more spot. Believe it or not, that's it for the Satellarknights. I'm not running Ptolemaeus anymore. I am not running Pleiades anymore. That might change in the future, but as of now, those cards by themselves, they don't make enough difference. And cards upon destruction, which Alteran does, unfortunately trigger effects like Unchained and what do you call them? Tier Elements. They still activate in the graveyard. So I don't know if that's the correct route to go to anymore. Let's go into generic XCs. We got one copy of Satellarknight, usually catches people off guard. This is what you're trying to bait out. Multiple times you can detach cards out from the hand. I mean, from it to, I think it's like once per chain, if I'm not mistaken. Once per chain, yeah. To clean boards and then go into Zeus if you choose to. One copy of Abyss Dweller, just a great card in this format. One copy of the new Star Slayer Typhoon Sky Crisis. Guys, this guy is pretty nutty, man. This guy's a great going second option, and I'm glad, because that's what this deck was lacking originally, was going second, and this gives us a very good option. So you got Satellarknight going second, Abyss Dweller going first, you got Typhoon going second towards the end of all your plays. If somehow they get stopped, at least you got something to go into. And then you got one copy of Zeus. This is great going first or second, like I said before. Man, those two together just look very nice. Zeus is self-explanatory. That's it for the XC lineup. Let's move into our Synchro lineup. Now we got one Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon. This paired up with Baron de Fleur. Usually is what you do if you have Bike in hand. If you do not have Bike in hand, if you're going first, usually my play is use Wakashi to go into Omega. Now you might say going into your rank 4 engine is more important. However, you do not want to underestimate the amount of impact Omega makes, because with making Omega you get to actually scale your Wakashi, which allows you to pendulum summon. I can make boards without normal summoning anymore. It's pretty crazy saying that with Satellarknights, but that's what this is. And it's a rip one until the end of the turn. Not only it's a rip one, but you can rip and then see your opponent's hand. So not the hand, but you know what I mean. If you see like a sprite card, you're like, oh, this guy's running sprites, now I know how to play against him. And then going second, if I don't open Bike and I open up the Wakashi line, I would go, right now I'm experimenting with Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. Same concept as Satellarknight, except with Wakashi you get to, board wipe again, and then it's a time card as well. So I'm experimenting with this right now. Let me know if you guys are feeling this or not. And then the final card is obviously SP Little Knight. This card is probably the best generic card out of the set, and really expensive at the moment. I think the value just skyrocketed back to $100 at the time. Upon summon, if you use an XC or a Link, which is great now, because Triple Tactics talent becomes even more valuable because you can take their monsters and then link away with it. This guy she gets an additional effect of a card on the field or in the graveyard, banish, and then upon opponent's turn, when an opponent activates a card or effect, you get to bounce 2 monsters on the field, including herself, banish until the end of the turn. Really nice interruption. It's good when you're doing it during your opponent's turn. However, I haven't had a lot of opportunities to do so yet because my cards resolve a lot on my turn. Some of you might say, hey, why don't you add Deltaros back in to loop this? I haven't really thought of a good strategy to use Deltaros again just for this. But if you guys think of anything, let me know in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this awesome deck profile. I'm not going to show you the extra deck because I have 12 cards in there. I still need to add about 3 more cards and then maybe I'll show it to you. But yeah, always feel free to reach out to me. I love answering questions. I love giving you guys feedback. I love getting feedback from you guys. You guys sometimes know, most of the time you guys know more than me. I'm just a guy behind a camera pretending to know how to play Satellarknights. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, and for more future content, leave a like and a comment down below. I'll see you later.